Hello and welcome to the A Book a Day channel. Today I will be discussing the book Why We Love Drinks, the science of what we drink and what it does to us, from milks to martinis. When you hear the title of this book, you might find it a bit odd. Of course, we love drinks because they taste good, offering various flavors that we enjoy, unlike water, which is bland and tasteless. When you walk into a supermarket and see the dazzling array of drinks on the shelves, every color imaginable, you want to try each flavor. Especially in summer, when you open a bottle of chilled soda and see the bubbles rise from the bottle. One sip can make you feel cool and refreshing, instantly revitalizing. However, this book tells us that our fondness for drinks might not be as simple as it seems. Our perceived preference is not necessarily proactive, it has been cultivated. We will discuss the deeper reasons behind this later. While many people love drinks, you will find that our understanding of them is not very deep. Some people might clearly tell you which foods are healthier and how to balance your diet for optimal nutrition. However, if you ask what impact drinks have on health, many might vaguely respond that drinks are unhealthy and should be consumed in moderation. Drinks contain too much sugar and can lead to weight gain. If you further inquire about tea or sports drinks, they might not be able to give you a clear answer. It's just an intuition that natural things are better and that drinks, which contain artificial additives, must be bad for health. Yet, when you turn on the TV or scroll through social media, you are bombarded with drink advertisements claiming their products are fortified with nutrients like vitamins and natural plant components, not only harmless, but even beneficial to health. This might make you wonder, are drinks good or bad for our health? The book I am discussing today answers these questions from a scientific perspective. It dispels some misconceptions about drinks, informing us which are healthier than we might think and which seemingly healthy drinks might pose hidden threats to our health. How to drink in a healthier way. These conclusions are not just casual remarks, they are supported by solid scientific data. The book alone cites 53 pages of research references. The author, Alexis Willett, holds a PhD in biomedical science from the University of Cambridge and currently works at the UK Medical Research Council's Human Nutrition Research Unit. You might not have heard of the UK Medical Research Council, but you've certainly heard of its sponsored biomedical research projects, such as the development of penicillin and the discovery of DNA structure. To date, its sponsored research has produced 32 Nobel Prize winners. The UK Medical Research Council also collaborates with the National Health Service, as well as top UK universities like Oxford, Cambridge, and Imperial College London, to improve public health. To clarify, the drinks mentioned in this book are not just the flavored waters we usually talk about. Its scope is actually broader, more precisely covering all beverages, including dairy products and alcohol. But here, I have chosen to focus on the 4 types we drink more frequently: water, tea, coffee, and what we generally refer to as beverages, sweet, non-alcoholic drinks. Next, I will break down this book into 2 parts. In the first part, we'll discuss which drinks are healthier and their impacts on us. In the second part, we'll delve deeper into the reasons why we love drinks. Part 1. The human body is mostly made up of water, accounting for about 60%, of which 70% to 80% is obtained from beverages. Let's start by looking at the most important beverage, water. If you go to a supermarket just wanting to buy a bottle of ordinary water, you will find that they have various names. Mineral water and purified water are the most common, and there are also the popular sparkling water, electrolyte water, vitamin water, and so on. What are the differences among these waters? Are they really good for health? Next, we will try to find the answer to this question from books. Mineral water and purified water are the 2 types of water that are easiest to confuse. Other than adding minerals, what is the difference between mineral water and purified water? In fact, the biggest difference between them is the source of the water. Mineral water is natural water that comes from uncontaminated underground sources, which must be officially recognized and bottled at the source. However, purified water is different. It comes from various sources and is bottled after filtering, distillation, and removal of pollutants. You might have also seen alkaline water, electrolyte water, and vitamin water. Some advertisements claim that these waters are healthier. But is that really the case? The author cites many scientific studies saying that these waters are not as beneficial for health as the advertisements claim. The reason is simple: As long as we are healthy, our body can automatically regulate the acid-base balance, and the extra substances added to those waters are actually sufficient from our food intake. Many people think that alkaline water can neutralize the acid in our blood, not only enhancing the activity of immune cells, preventing cancer and heart disease, but also beneficial to bone health, anti-aging, and even helping with weight loss. However, the author believes that this claim lacks evidence support. In fact, even if we drink alkaline water, when it comes into contact with a highly acidic gastric juice, the alkaline substances in the water have already disappeared. Electrolyte water might be a bit difficult to understand. Electrolytes refer to salts and minerals, which are particularly important for the human body. If the electrolyte balance is disrupted, it can lead to coma or even death. Loss of body fluids, such as intense exercise causing a lot of sweat, or after vomiting and diarrhea, can lead to electrolyte loss. Electrolytes are so important. So is electrolyte water definitely beneficial to health? Actually, not really, because for most people, the electrolytes needed by the body can be obtained from food, and there is no need to specifically supplement them. Even just after exercising or when body fluids are lost and hydration is needed, drinking ordinary mineral water is sufficient. Vitamin water sounds very healthy, and you might think that extra vitamin intake can never be harmful. But you should be aware that vitamin water is not just a mixture of vitamins and water. These drinks usually also contain added sugars, colorants, etc. Actually, most people only need a balanced diet and do not need extra vitamin supplements. If taken in excess, vitamins can also damage health. For example, excessive intake of vitamin A and vitamin E can increase the risk of cancer and heart disease. Excessive intake of the B vitamins can damage the nerves. Even if we really need to supplement vitamins, we do not know how much to supplement or how to supplement. Fat-soluble vitamins are more easily absorbed in the diet, such as vitamins A, E, and D. So, is it okay to supplement water-soluble vitamins? Actually, the vitamins supplemented in vitamin water are mainly this type, such as the B vitamins and vitamin C. But there is a problem with these vitamins, as they degrade over time, and light and heat will accelerate this degradation process. Therefore, if you choose vitamin water, you must pay special attention to its production date and storage conditions. Another currently popular water is sparkling water. Many people think it might be unhealthy, as the carbonation in the water can erode the teeth, cause calcium loss from the bones, or cause stomach discomfort. But actually, there is no scientific basis for these claims, and some studies have found that sparkling water can relieve gastrointestinal discomfort more than plain water. After drinking sparkling water, you might feel very full and think that this will make you eat less, thus helping with weight loss. This seems to make sense, but in fact, the opposite is true. Sparkling water can increase appetite. It increases the secretion of a substance called ghrelin, which makes us want to eat more and consume more calories. Even if you avoid the sugar in carbonated drinks and try to lose weight by drinking sparkling water, this method actually does not work. However, moderate consumption of sparkling water at least has no harm to health. If you are really concerned about carbonation damaging your teeth, you can drink it with a straw to minimize the contact between the carbonation and your teeth. After talking about so many types of water, let's talk again about what we usually refer to as beverages, which are those sweet, non-alcoholic drinks. The book talks about many beverages, such as fruit juices, sports drinks, energy drinks, and probiotic drinks, etc., which we may prefer because they have different flavors. Are these beverages really good for our health? Actually, to summarize the book's conclusion in one sentence, beverages are not as healthy as we think. Why beverages are sweet primarily comes from two substances, one being sugar, and the other being sugar substitutes. Let's start with sugar. The sugar in beverages is mostly sucrose, which is not directly absorbed by the body but is converted into glucose and fructose. We know that glucose is an important source of energy for the body. You might have experienced this. Skipping breakfast can leave you feeling lethargic all morning, which is due to a lack of glucose, meaning not enough energy is supplied. A short-term lack of glucose can make you irritable and have difficulty concentrating. However, a long-term deficiency can lead to cognitive disorders. It sounds a bit scary, but don't worry, just maintaining a balanced diet will provide enough glucose from food. The additional sugar in beverages is actually a burden for our bodies. Excessive sugar intake can affect the regulation of insulin in our bodies, increasing the risk of diabetes and heart disease. You might ask, can we reduce glucose intake and just consume fructose instead? That won't work either. Although fructose doesn't impact insulin as much as glucose, it directly affects blood lipids. Excessive intake of fructose can lead to an increase in triglycerides, causing hyperlipidemia, and it also increases your uric acid levels, raising the risk of gout. Moreover, the liver is the only place where fructose is metabolized, so excessive intake of fructose increases the burden on the liver. The saturated fatty acids inside liver cells will rise, thereby increasing the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If you pay attention when ordering milk tea, you'll notice that the sugar options usually include fructose and sugar substitutes. Now let's talk about sugar substitutes. This has been a popular alternative to sugar in recent years, and beverages advertised as zero sugar or sugar-free actually use sugar substitutes. More precisely, sugar substitutes are artificial sweeteners that contain no sugar, such as acesulfame, aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin, etc. These sweeteners are much sweeter than real sugar, with sucralose being the sweetest, about 700 times sweeter than sugar. Interestingly, because it is so sweet, people often add glucose to dilute it. You see, originally intended to reduce sugar intake, sweeteners ultimately do not fulfill their original purpose. At this point, you might think that these artificial additives must be harmful to health, but so far, research has not reached a consensus. Only when these sweeteners are consumed in particularly large amounts do they affect health, such as a bottle of zero-sugar cola. For a healthy adult, drinking fewer than 10 bottles a day does not pose a significant risk to health, though research is ongoing. Of course, an average person will not normally drink so much. Even if they really like drinking beverages, occasionally drinking 1 or 2 bottles does not significantly impact health. Next, let's talk about some beverages that sound healthier. The first type is sports drinks. Many advertisements claim that they add electrolytes to replenish lost fluids and sugars. But are these beverages really as effective as advertised? Research has not found sufficient scientific evidence to prove they are indeed more beneficial for health, but they definitely add calories. A 2012 study in the UK reached an interesting conclusion. Sports drinks were originally designed for people who engage in long-duration, high-intensity exercise, but it was found that a quarter of those who drink sports drinks don't exercise at all. The second type is energy drinks, which sound even healthier, as they add various vitamins and some natural plant ingredients. However, these vitamins cannot directly produce energy nor do they produce practical effects because these ingredients are only useful in large doses, and the amounts provided in beverages are actually insufficient. The energy in energy drinks comes more from sugar and caffeine. We've already mentioned sugar, so let's focus on caffeine. The amount of caffeine in energy drinks might be much more than we imagine. A 250 milliliters energy drink contains about as much caffeine as a cup of coffee, and these energy drinks usually contain a substance called guarana, which has about twice the caffeine content of coffee beans. They stimulate the secretion of adrenaline, raising blood pressure and increasing the burden on the heart. Over time, this can alter the structure and function of the heart and increase the risk of heart disease. The author cites data in the book indicating that excessive consumption of energy drinks, besides affecting sleep and making one more prone to anger, can also cause headaches, stomach pain, high blood pressure, and other problems. From this, you can see that excessive consumption of energy drinks poses a greater risk to health. There's also probiotic drinks, which advertisements always claim are beneficial for gut health due to probiotics and prebiotics, but there is no scientific evidence to support this yet. Moreover, we do not know which specific strains of bacteria our bodies need, and the probiotics we ingest might not be needed by our bodies, even if we ingest the probiotics that our body lacks. They are unlikely to survive in the acidic environment of the stomach. Furthermore, even if they do survive, they must compete with other microbes in the intestines, which may inhibit the reproduction of other natural microbes. Having said this, you might say, let's just drink pure natural fruit juice, which should be a healthy beverage, as fruits are rich in various vitamins. But take note, fruit juice is not exactly the same as fruit. Although fruit contains vitamins, it lacks an important substance, fiber. You might feel full after eating fruit, but drinking juice won't have the same effect. Instead, it might make you hungrier. This is because the fibers in fruit that give you a feeling of fullness are missing in juice, and the fructose contained in the juice further stimulates appetite, causing you to intake more calories. What happens to your body after drinking a glass of juice? Lacking fiber, your body will directly absorb water and sugar, causing your blood sugar to rise rapidly. Moreover, a cup of freshly squeezed juice requires more fruit, so you'll ingest more sugar. For example, nearly 90% of orange juice and apple juice consists of water, with the main other ingredient being sugar. What if our blood sugar is low, and we suddenly feel a bit dizzy? Can drinking juice quickly raise our blood sugar and provide us with energy? The effect might not be as good as you think. The juice contains mostly fructose and sucrose, and even after being broken down into glucose, the amount is relatively small and cannot provide enough energy. So, even if you have low blood sugar and feel uncomfortable, it might be better to quickly drink some sugar water or eat some chocolate. In summary, if we can maintain a balanced diet, we do not need to additionally supplement nutritional elements from beverages, and many of the nutritional elements claimed in beverages do not actually help health. After discussing beverages, let's briefly talk about tea and coffee. What effects do these two drinks have on health? There are many opinions on this question, but this book cites numerous studies and concludes that as long as you consume them in moderation, they can be beneficial to your health. You might think that this statement is equivalent to saying nothing, but it's important to understand how difficult it is to scientifically prove the impact of a substance on health. Even though researchers know that certain substances in tea and caffeine are indeed beneficial for health, like catechins in tea which can prevent cancer, lower cholesterol, and prevent Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease, tannic acid binding with protein, to have antibacterial effects, and theophylline being beneficial for bronchial diseases, tea is a compound. The chemical reactions between its various components, as well as the temperature of the water used for brewing, the type of tea leaves, and how much you drink can all affect its health benefits. The book also shares a tip for brewing tea. Dark-colored, strong-smelling teas, like black tea and pu'erg, need higher water temperatures and longer brewing times, but not with boiling water at 100 degrees Celsius. For light-colored, mild-smelling teas, the brewing temperature can be slightly lower and the time shorter, about 60 degrees Celsius, brewed for approximately 3 minutes. As for choosing the right tea, the book offers some guidance. Green tea can reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases and heart attacks, and also has a blood pressure-lowering effect. Besides, it can help reduce anxiety and enhance your attention and memory. Some people believe green tea can help with weight loss, but this may disappoint you, as its effect on weight loss is not significant. For teas like black tea and pu'erg, research has not yet reached a consensus on their health effects. The author also specifically warns that many detox teas, claimed to aid in weight loss and beauty enhancement, do not benefit health and may even harm it, as they often contain senna leaves, which can cause digestive issues and even dehydration. As for coffee, the book answers whether drinking coffee is good for health. The conclusion is that for generally healthy people, drinking a bit of coffee each day can be beneficial. Whether it's reducing inflammation or the risk of cardiovascular diseases, Parkinson's disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, liver disease, or gallstones, drinking coffee has certain benefits, all of which are supported by scientific research. However, there is a misconception about coffee aiding in weight loss, which needs to be clarified. Coffee, even black coffee, does not promote weight loss. Of course, drinking too much coffee isn't good either. It can make you jittery. Drinking a cup of coffee can affect you for about 8 hours, impacting your sleep. Thus, everything should be consumed in moderation. What is moderation? Medically, it's recommended not to exceed an intake of 400 milligrams per day. A cup of instant coffee has about 100 milligrams, filter coffee slightly more, about 140 milligrams. The caffeine content varies by the type of coffee. For instance, a large cup of Americano from Starbucks has about 294 milligrams, meaning if you buy coffee, you should not have more than 1 cup per day. If you brew coffee at home, try not to exceed 3 cups. Of course, each person's caffeine metabolism is different, so these are reference values, and you can adjust according to your actual situation. After discussing so many beverages, let's briefly summarize. To hydrate, mineral water and purified water are the best sources. Waters with additional ingredients, such as alkaline water, electrolyte water, and vitamin water, will not make us healthier. Those seemingly healthy beverages, like sports drinks, energy drinks, probiotic beverages, and even natural fruit juices, are not healthier than we imagine. Green tea and coffee are better, but note that this refers to those without added ingredients, brewed by hand. Even these should be consumed in moderation. Part 2. Having discussed the relationship between beverages and health, we move on to a question posed by the title of this book in the second part. Why do we love beverages? You might think this question is easy to answer because they taste better than water. But if we delve deeper and ask, why do we think beverages taste better? You will find that our preference for sweetness is ingrained in our genes. There is actually an evolutionary psychological mechanism behind this. Long ago, sugar was scarce in nature, available only in honey and fruits. People discovered that these sweet things could provide more energy, so our bodies encouraged us to consume more. At that point, the reward pathways in the brain would be activated, releasing dopamine, making us feel happy. Our preference for sweetness was thus preserved through human evolution. Later, as people mastered sugar production techniques, when natural foods were not tasty enough, we processed them by adding sugar. Water was tasteless and unappealing, so we added sugar to it too. Food companies took note and kept adding more sugar. This book argues that our fondness for beverages is not entirely voluntary. It has been cultivated. It's as if there is an invisible hand behind us, guiding us to the shelf to pick up a beverage. This invisible hand is the force of commerce. Our liking for sweetness is instinctual, but our preference for beverages has been cultivated by the market. You'll find that once something becomes a necessity, captured by commercial forces, it ceases to be a simple trait of ours and begins to spread outwards, drawing in more and more social resources and forming a dense commercial network. Beverage companies realized that people couldn't resist sugar, which is hidden in our instincts, and many are unaware of it. If you were asked to eat a spoonful of sugar, you'd likely find it unpalatable, but dissolved in water, it's a different story. Then arises the question, how much sugar is enough? Indeed, sugar is more appealing, but we can't just keep adding it endlessly. Imagine a glass of plain water in front of you. Each time you add a bit of sugar, it tastes a bit sweeter. There comes a moment when you think it's enough, it starts to taste too sweet. Before reaching that moment, when you taste this water, you might want to drink all of this sweet water in one go. Dr. Howard Moskowitz, a Harvard PhD in experimental psychology and an authority in the food development industry, calls this sweetness the bliss point, where your happiness reaches its peak. His research team, after numerous trials, discovered this optimal sweetness ratio. Yet, beverage companies found this alone wasn't appealing enough. So what did they do? They added carbonation, various fruit flavors, and colorants to the drinks. Looking at the array of different flavors and attractive beverages on the shelf, you can't help but be drawn in, instinctively picking one up. People then realize that although these beverages are tasty, they don't seem very healthy. Beverage companies, in an effort to make them appear healthier, began adding various vitamins, telling you that they could replenish various nutrients in your body. Beverage companies also realized that simply focusing on the beverages themselves was not enough to attract only those with a preference for sweetness, as their numbers are limited. To expand the market, they needed to appeal to those who are less sensitive to sweetness. How could they make these people like beverages? Beverage companies realized that people are social animals, easily influenced by others. If a friend buys a beverage, they might too. If everyone around is drinking it, you'd likely want to try it too. Then, as you know, various marketing advertisements swept in. People were constantly fed the visual stimulation that drinking these beverages produced a wonderful sensation. For instance, coffee could instantly banish tiredness, and energy drinks could immediately recharge your energy. These ads didn't just use before and after comparisons, they also created an atmosphere, attaching specific symbolic meanings to the beverages. For example, you might see urban professionals with a cup of coffee moving through office buildings, associating coffee with city life, professionals, and office spaces, making you feel it's an essential part of that lifestyle. When you want to experience that state of life, you'd buy a cup of coffee. The influence of celebrities is even greater. Seeing them refreshed with a sip of soda might make you want to experience that wonderful feeling after drinking soda. If you see a favorite celebrity endorsing a beverage brand, you might buy the product to support them. Studies have shown that celebrity endorsements can lead to an average sales increase of 4% shortly after the announcement. Moreover, manufacturers deliberately select celebrities who can best represent the product's image to attract specific consumers. For example, sodas and energy drinks often feature singers popular among teenagers. Sports drinks typically use athletes and some even higher actors to shoot specific scenes to create a joyful and beautiful atmosphere. Indeed, these beverage ads convey a subliminal message that drinking these beverages can make you as fashionable and healthy as these people experiencing happiness. Celebrities, in their pursuit of money and increased visibility, also join this increasingly vast commercial network. Some celebrities invest money and contribute their influence, even creating their own beverage brands. For instance, American singer Madonna invested in the coconut water she endorses, and pop icon Taylor Swift launched her own vodka brand, which quickly became popular. Of course, some people have also recognized the problem, noting that beverages are still unhealthy. Excessive sugar intake can lead to obesity and increase the risk of various diseases. Updated health data also makes people hesitate more when buying beverages. Studies have indicated that by 2021, the number of adult diabetes patients globally reached 537 million, affecting about 1 in 10 adults. Faced with public scrutiny, what can manufacturers do? They came up with a solution. They replaced sugar with sweeteners and added natural plant ingredients to the beverages, telling you not to worry, that these beverages are very healthy. But as we've discussed earlier, these beverages aren't really that healthy. The nutrient content is insufficient and may not have any real effect on us. How powerful are these beverage giants? It's hard to imagine. Coca-Cola alone has 17 brands, each generating an average annual revenue of about $1 billion. Just in 2017, it spent over $3.9 billion on advertising. Faced with public scrutiny, what do? Beverage companies are prepared. To tout the benefits of their products, they continually fund research institutions they've established, such as the Beverage Health Research Institute. Even when it's pointed out that the sugar in their drinks is harmful to health, they shift the focus, telling us that to combat obesity and improve health, it's more important to increase exercise rather than decrease sugar intake. Beverage manufacturers also use their influence to reshape the environment around you, crafting one beautiful story after another to give you a feeling that drinking their products will allow you to experience something wonderful. They suggest that if you don't drink their beverages, you're not keeping up with the trends, and because you like those celebrities, you're more than willing to buy these drinks. Now you should understand the reality we face. If you want to be healthy, you can't completely rely on beverage manufacturers to produce healthier drinks. What to do? It's best to rely on yourself. We may not have enough expertise to understand every substance in beverages, but the author of this book reminds us of one thing. Remain vigilant against all kinds of marketing. You can still pay for the beverages you like, but don't be deceived by advertisements into paying for drinks under the guise of health. With that said, this book has decoded it all for you. First, we discussed the various beverages we often drink and clarified several misconceptions. To summarize, the conclusion is that those beverages that look healthy are not actually that healthy. But drinking some tea and coffee in moderation can be beneficial to your health. Then, we explored the deeper reasons behind our love for beverages, essentially our preference for sweetness. However, those things that once helped us survive, when consumed in excess, can turn into weapons that harm us. Therefore, it's most important to remain rational and restrained in the face of marketing. Alright, that concludes the content for today. Congratulations, you've just finished another book.